The city hums with a relentless energy that can wear you down before your day even begins. You are standing on a crowded platform, the noise a constant assault, your mind already racing through a dozen demands. This is the reality of urban life for millions, a daily tide of stress and overstimulation. Yet there is a way to find a profound and unshakable calm right in the middle of this chaos. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism, practiced by Roman emperors like Marcus Aurelius and former slaves like Epictetus, offers a powerful toolkit for modern peace. By the end of this, you will possess practical techniques to transform your reaction to urban stress, building an inner fortress that no external turmoil can penetrate. This is not about escaping your life, but about learning to navigate it with a new kind of strength and clarity. How do you currently find moments of quiet in your own bustling day? This foundational Stoic principle is called the Dichotomy of Control, and it is your first tool for building inner peace. At its heart is a simple but radical act of sorting. You learn to clearly separate what is within your power from everything that is not. Your own judgments, your intentions, your desires, and the actions you choose to take. These are your inner territory. They are yours to command, but external events, the traffic jam, a critical comment from a coworker, the weather, these belong to the outer world. They are not yours to control. Picture your mind as a fortress. There is a strong inner wall that protects your thoughts and choices, the things you truly rule. Outside that wall lies the vast, unpredictable world. The stress we feel so often comes from trying to command the outer world from inside our fortress, exhausting ourselves against forces we cannot change. The Stoic teacher Epictetus opens his manual with this very idea. He writes, "Some things are within our power while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is our own doing." Our bodies are not within our power, nor are our possessions, our reputations, or our public offices. Think about a recent source of stress in your own life, perhaps a delayed train that made you late for an important meeting. Now sort it: the train's schedule, the signals on the track, the actions of other passengers. These were outside your control. Your power resided only in your response. Your decision to use the time to breathe instead of fume, your choice of words to explain your lateness, your determination to leave earlier next time, these actions were yours alone. By drawing this line, you stop fighting the unwinnable battle and begin focusing your energy where it can actually make a difference. What if you could not just endure the city's chaos, but genuinely love it? This is the heart of the next Stoic technique, a concept known as Amor Fati, which translates to a love of one's fate. It is the radical practice of accepting and embracing everything that happens to you, not with gritted teeth, but with a sense of purpose. This means welcoming the traffic jam, the construction noise outside your window, and the sudden downstorm that soaks you on your walk home. Amor Fati is not about passive resignation, where you simply give up and say nothing matters. It is an active, powerful choice to see every obstacle, every irritation, as essential fuel for your own growth and resilience. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "A loving acceptance of whatever is assigned to you." He was reminding himself that fighting reality is a battle you will always lose, but embracing it unlocks a profound strength. So how do you practice this in a moment of urban stress? Let us return to the example of the delayed subway train. Your initial reaction might be frustration, your body tensing as you watch the minutes tick by. But with Amor Fati, you consciously reframe the situation. This delay is no longer a thief of your time, it is a gift. It is an unexpected pocket of quiet, a forced pause in a hectic day. You can use it to simply observe the world around you, to notice the play of light on the tunnel walls, to take 5 deep breaths, or to collect your thoughts before a meeting. The train is still late, the situation is unchanged, but your relationship to it has been completely transformed. You have taken an external event you cannot control and turned it into an internal opportunity you can cherish. Take a mental step back and imagine looking down on your city from a great height. See the intricate grid of streets as faint lines, the cars like tiny, silent beetles moving in slow streams. The buildings are merely blocks, and the people are invisible from this vantage point. This is the Stoic practice of the view from above, a powerful visualization designed to shrink your anxieties by giving you a cosmic perspective. From here, the urgent email, the tense meeting, the crowded commute, all of it recedes into an almost laughable insignificance. Your personal drama is just one of millions unfolding simultaneously in that vast, silent grid below. Marcus Aurelius constantly returned to this thought to ground himself, writing in his Meditations, "Remember that all of this has happened before and will happen again, the same plots and climaxes, the same actors under different names." Think of the vastness of time behind you and the time ahead, a boundless abyss in which our own brief moment is utterly swallowed. How can the critical comment from a colleague hold its power when viewed against such an immense backdrop? Now bring this technique down to earth. Recall that recent stressful work conflict that has been occupying your thoughts. Perhaps it was a disagreement over a project or a feeling of being unfairly treated. Now visualize that specific conflict as a physical object, a tiny, glowing speck. Place that speck inside one room, in one building, in one neighborhood, within the immense, sprawling city you just saw from above. Watch as the speck, and all the intense emotion tied to it, diminishes in size and intensity until it is just one faint point of light among countless others. The problem may still require your attention, but its emotional weight has been lifted, its capacity to cause you distress dramatically reduced. You have not solved it with this view, but you have reclaimed the mental space to address it with clarity, not with panic. There is a Stoic practice so powerful it functions as a psychological vaccine against the day's anxieties. It is called Premeditatio Malorum, the Premeditation of Evils. This is not about expecting the worst to happen out of a sense of doom. It is about strategically rehearsing potential setbacks in your mind to drain them of their power to shock you when they occur. Think of it as building a mental immune system. By exposing yourself to a small, controlled dose of a stressful scenario in your imagination, you develop the antibodies of resilience, ensuring the real event cannot overwhelm you. The Stoic philosopher Seneca captured the essence of this when he wrote, "What is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster." The person who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive. Consider the simple, daily urban irritations. You are running late, and you mentally rehearse missing your usual bus. You visualize the scene, the bus pulling away as you arrive at the stop, a wave of initial frustration. But then you play out your response. You take a deep breath, you check the schedule for the next one, and you decide to use the waiting time to listen to a podcast or simply watch the city wake up. When it actually happens, the event feels familiar, almost routine. There is no surge of panic, only the execution of a plan you have already practiced. This same technique transforms how you approach larger challenges, like a difficult meeting. Instead of dreading it and letting anxiety build, you sit for a few minutes beforehand and walk through the worst-case scenarios in your mind. What if your presentation is met with silence? What if someone challenges your main point aggressively? By facing these possibilities head-on in the safety of your thoughts, you prepare your calm, reasoned responses. You are not hoping for the best, you are prepared for anything. When you walk into that room, you carry a deep-seated preparedness that makes reactive anxiety impossible. Your initial surge of anger in a traffic jam is not the final word, but merely a first draft written by your emotions. The Stoics called this raw, unexamined reaction an impression. It is the mind's immediate, often flawed, interpretation of an event, and it arrives with the force of a command. Your boss sends a terse email, and the impression screams you are in trouble. A stranger bumps into you on the sidewalk, and the impression shouts this is a personal insult. But here is the secret that changes everything. That impression is not a fact. It is just a story your brain is telling you in that moment, and you hold the power to either agree with the story or to set it aside. This is the profound practice of cognitive distancing. The philosopher Epictetus laid out this cornerstone of Stoic wisdom when he taught, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." He was pointing to the critical gap between what happens to us and the judgment we place upon it. Your power does not lie in stopping the initial impression from arising, that is often automatic. Your true power lies in your ability to refuse your assent to it. You can choose not to sign the document your emotions have just placed in front of you. The technique is beautifully simple. When you feel that familiar heat of frustration rising in a long queue, or the cold grip of anxiety before a presentation, you create a tiny, silent pause. In that space, you simply label the thought. You say to yourself, "This is just my impression of being insulted," or "This is merely my impression of impending failure." By naming it, you objectify it. You take this internal storm and you hold it at arm's length to examine it, rather than being consumed by it. That label, "This is just an impression," becomes a lever that pries you away from the chaos, granting you the clarity to ask a far better question. Is this impression true, or is it just a familiar ghost from my past? Is this story helping me, or is it robbing me of my peace? The next time you are cut off in traffic, feel the anger flash and then apply the label. This is an impression of frustration. In that moment, you are no longer just a reactive passenger in your own mind. You have taken the driver's seat, calmly observing the emotional weather without being swept away by the storm. That impression you just observed is the first line of defense for your inner citadel. This is the Stoic metaphor for the mind as an unassailable fortress of peace. Picture it clearly, a stronghold built not of stone but of reason and virtue. The chaotic marketplace of the city, with its blaring horns and demanding schedules, rages outside the walls. Its noise is constant, its pressures relentless, yet within your citadel there is a profound and unshakable silence. You cannot stop the storm outside, but you can always strengthen the walls within. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius described this retreat perfectly in his Meditations, writing, "People look for retreats for themselves in the country, by the coast, or in the hills. But this is altogether unphilosophical when you can at any moment retreat into your own mind. Nowhere is there a more peaceful or less busy retreat than in one's own soul." This is not about building a wall to hide from life, but to engage with it from a place of unshakable strength. Your inner citadel is where you govern your judgments, your actions, and your character, the only true kingdom you will ever rule. So how do you fortify this mental fortress against the daily siege of urban stress? The construction happens through small, deliberate daily practices. A morning meditation, even for just 5 minutes, is like sending out scouts to survey the emotional landscape of the day ahead. It is a quiet moment to reinforce your walls before the world begins its assault. Journaling is another powerful tool, the equivalent of inspecting your Citadel's foundations each evening. You write down what disturbed your peace, not to dwell on it, but to understand where your defenses were weak and how you can strengthen them tomorrow with better judgment. These practices are not chores, they are the steady, patient work of a sovereign building a stronghold that no external turmoil can ever breach. We chase after more, believing happiness lies in the next possession or promotion. But this constant pursuit has a hidden cost. It blinds us to the treasures we already hold. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote, a practice so counterintuitive it feels almost like a secret. It is called negative visualization, and its goal is not to create fear, but to generate a profound and lasting joy. This technique involves periodically imagining the loss of the very things you cherish most, your health, your livelihood, the simple comforts of your daily life. By mentally letting them go, you shock your system into a deep appreciation for their presence. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote a powerful letter to a friend, urging him to value his time and his possessions as if they were already lost. He suggested we love all our dear things as if we were one day to lose them, for it is fate's habit to take away what it has given. This is not pessimism, it is the ultimate preparation for gratitude. You can practice this with the smallest parts of your day to build the habit. Imagine walking to your favorite coffee shop, the one that makes your perfect morning drink, only to find a locked door and a sign saying it has closed for good. Feel that small pang of disappointment, the sudden emptiness in your routine. Now open your eyes, the shop is open, the barista smiles, the aroma fills the air. That first sip is no longer automatic, it is a gift you have consciously chosen to receive. The experience is instantly richer, more vivid, because you have briefly seen its absence. This practice recalibrates your perception, turning ordinary comforts into daily miracles and shielding you from the stress of taking your entire world for granted. Your mind's gate stands open to a constant stream of impressions, and you are the only one who can decide what gets inside. This is the core of the Stoic Discipline of Assent, the daily practice of becoming a vigilant gatekeeper of your own thoughts. Every moment, the world presents you with raw data, a crowded train, a sharp tone from a colleague, a project setback. Your initial automatic reaction is the impression, the story your mind instantly creates about that event. The discipline of assent is the powerful pause between receiving that impression and giving it your belief. It is the act of stopping that story at the gate, looking it in the eye and asking, is this true, or is this just a familiar and unhelpful narrative? Most of our stress is born from forgetting this crucial step, from letting every negative assumption march straight through the gate and take command of our emotions. Epictetus once again provides the essential key. He taught that men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. The delayed train itself does not cause your anger. It is your unquestioned view that this delay is a catastrophe that ruins your entire day. That view is the impression you have the power to challenge. Think about your own daily commute for a moment. Identify one common negative assumption that arises. Is it the belief that every slow walker is deliberately trying to delay you, or that the crowded space is a personal violation of your peace? Now question its validity. Is that person really moving slowly to spite you, a stranger, or are they simply lost in thought, or perhaps struggling with a pain you cannot see? Is the crowd an attack, or is it merely a collection of other human beings, each navigating their own private struggles, just like you? By holding that initial impression at the gate and examining it, you drain it of its destructive power. You reclaim the authority to write your own story, one built not on reactive assumptions, but on reasoned choice. Comfort can be a subtle and seductive trap, lulling our resilience to sleep, the Stoics proposed a counterintuitive training regimen to keep our inner strength sharp, a practice known as voluntary discomfort. This is the deliberate choice to seek out small, manageable hardships in your daily life, not as a form of self-punishment, but as a way to prove to yourself that you can handle difficulty with grace. It is like a fire drill for the soul, preparing you calmly for the real emergencies life will inevitably send your way. The Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus taught that we should practice hardship, for it is precisely when we are not expecting hardship that we are most overwhelmed by it. His point was not to seek out suffering, but to build a familiarity with discomfort so that its sudden arrival finds you unafraid. The examples are simple and can be woven into any urban day. You might choose to take a cold shower in the morning, not for any health claim, but for the mental victory of mastering your initial resistance. You could decide to walk a different, longer route to work, embracing the minor inconvenience to sharpen your adaptability. Or you could fast for a single meal, not for diet, but to remind your body and mind that you are in command of your appetites. One of the most relevant practices for modern stress is the digital fast. On your next subway ride, instead of reflexively pulling out your phone to scroll through a river of information, you simply sit. You let the boredom wash over you without fighting it. You observe the sounds and sights around you without judgment. At first, this feels uncomfortable, even anxious, as your mind screams for distraction. But by sitting with that feeling, by letting the boredom exist without trying to escape it, you are building a profound muscle. You are strengthening your focus and your patience, proving that you do not need constant external stimulation to be at peace. This small, voluntary act of discomfort inoculates you against the far greater stress of being disconnected, delayed, or simply still in a world that never stops moving. Resistance is a form of exhaustion you choose without realizing it. Picture yourself in a rushing river, the current of daily life pushing relentlessly against you. If you fight it, thrashing against the flow, you will quickly drain your strength and drown in frustration. But if you relax your body and let the current carry you, you move with its power, conserving your energy for the moments you truly need to swim. This is the essence of the Stoic art of acquiescence, the willing cooperation with the unfolding of events. It is not a passive surrender, a giving up on your goals. It is an active, intelligent alignment with reality as it is, not as you wish it would be. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly, advising himself to accept everything which happens, even if it seems disagreeable, because it leads to the health of the universe. He saw his own life as one small thread in a vast, beautiful tapestry, and to fight the weaver's hand was both futile and arrogant. Now, bring this down to a moment you have almost certainly faced. You have been looking forward to a quiet evening all day, a plan to unwind and read. Then you get a message the plan is cancelled. The immediate impression is one of disappointment, a theft of your anticipated peace. This is the moment you stand at the river's edge, deciding whether to fight the current. The practice of acquiescence is to consciously reframe the event. This cancellation is not a loss, it is the universe handing you an unexpected gift of free time. The evening is suddenly open, a blank canvas. You can choose to use this found time in a way that truly serves you, perhaps starting that project you never have time for, or simply granting yourself the grace of an extra hour of rest. The external event has not changed, but your internal war with it has ended. You have stopped exhausting yourself by swimming upstream and have instead turned to float, allowing the river of your day to carry you toward a different but equally valid shore. You will not always be here to experience this stress. The city's noise, its demands, the entire stage upon which your daily drama unfolds, is a temporary arrangement. This sobering truth is the foundation of a profound Stoic practice known as Memento Mori, a Latin phrase that means remember you must die. Far from being a morbid fixation, this is a tool for radical clarity. It is the mental exercise of holding your own mortality in mind to instantly prioritize what is essential and dissolve the power of trivial anxieties. The Roman philosopher Seneca framed this not as a threat but as a liberation. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Life is long if you know how to use it. Memento Mori is the practice of learning how to use your time, of ensuring that your life is long in depth and meaning, regardless of its actual length. The technique is disarmingly simple. When you find yourself spiraling into worry over a rude comment, a missed deadline, or a social slight, you pause and introduce the ultimate perspective. You ask yourself one direct question: if this was my last week in this city, would this problem still seem so large? The frantic urgency of an inbox suddenly feels quiet and distant. The sting of a coworker's careless remark evaporates into irrelevance. What rushes to the foreground are the things that have always truly mattered: the warmth of a conversation, the quiet beauty of an evening walk, the integrity of your own character. Your mortality is not a dark cloud hanging over you, but a gentle, constant guide, reminding you to stop fighting battles in a kingdom you will one day leave. It clears the clutter from your mind, allowing you to invest your precious, finite energy only in what is worthy of it. The city can feel like a whirlwind of random chance, a chaotic sequence of delays and disruptions with no greater meaning. Yet Stoicism offers a radical alternative to this view, a profound trust in the rational, interconnected fabric of the universe, which they called the Logos. This is the belief in a kind of cosmic providence, an intelligent principle weaving every event, even the most stressful and unpleasant ones, into a purposeful whole. To trust the Logos is to believe that nothing happens to you, but rather for you, as part of a grand design whose beauty we can only glimpse in fragments. Marcus Aurelius constantly returned to this anchor in his own turbulent life, writing, "Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time." The twining strands of fate wove both of them together, your own existence and the event that now befalls you. He is reminding himself that his personal story is inseparably threaded into the story of the entire world, and that each thread, no matter its color, is essential to the strength and pattern of the tapestry. How do you apply this when life delivers a major blow like an unexpected job loss? The immediate impression is one of personal failure, a catastrophic end to your security and plans. But the perspective of providence invites you to reframe the event entirely. This ending is not a verdict on your worth, it is a redirection. The universe, or the rational Logos, has closed one door because a more aligned path is waiting to be discovered, one you might never have had the courage to seek on your own. The stress and fear are real, but by leaning into trust, you exchange a narrative of victimhood for one of purpose. You begin to ask not "why is this happening to me?" but "what is this making space for? What new strength is it forcing me to develop?" This shift does not erase the difficulty, but it infuses it with meaning, transforming a personal crisis into a pivotal step in your unique journey. The sheer density of a city can create a profound sense of isolation. Even when you are physically surrounded by thousands of people, you stand in a crowd, yet feel utterly alone, viewing every other person as an obstacle or a competitor in the daily race. Stoicism offers a direct antidote to this modern alienation through a beautiful principle called Sympatheia. This is the recognition of our fundamental interconnectedness, the idea that we are all part of a single, living community, sharing the same fundamental nature and facing the same core human struggles. When you truly see the stranger on the subway as a fellow human being with hopes and fears as vivid as your own, your irritation begins to dissolve, replaced by a quiet sense of kinship. The Stoic philosopher Hierocles illustrated this with his circles of concern. He asked us to imagine a series of concentric circles. At the very center is your own mind. The next circle holds your immediate family, then your close friends, then your neighbors, your fellow citizens, and finally, all of humanity. The goal of the ethical life, he taught, is to continually draw those outer circles inward, to bring the same care and consideration you have for your family to your neighbors, and then to strangers, and ultimately to every human being. You do not need to be best friends with everyone on the platform, but you can begin to pull them one circle closer. The next time you are on a crowded train, pick one person, anyone. Look past the surface, their clothes, their phone, their tired expression. See them not as a prop in your story, but as the main character in their own. They have likely woken up early, worried about a loved one, felt the sting of a criticism, or celebrated a small, private victory. They, too, are striving for a little happiness and trying to avoid suffering, just like you. In that moment of recognition, the crowded space transforms. It is no longer a sea of anonymous obstacles, but a gathering of fellow travelers, each on their own difficult journey. The shared humanity becomes a source of quiet strength, a reminder that you are never truly alone in the crowd. That honking car is just a burst of sound waves moving through the air. The event itself is neutral, a simple fact of physics. The stress you feel is not in the noise, but in the story you instantly attach to it. The judgment that this sound is an outrage, a personal insult, a deliberate attempt to ruin your morning. We constantly paint neutral events with the colors of our own anxiety and frustration. Stoicism offers a razor-sharp tool to strip away this added layer, a practice of judgment suspension captured in the phrase, "It is nothing by itself." You learn to see the event in its raw, unadorned state before your mind has had a chance to dress it in drama. Marcus Aurelius provided the ultimate reminder of this power, writing, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your own estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." The thing itself does not touch your soul, not even in the slightest. The honking car cannot reach inside your mind and force you to be angry. Only your own estimate, your own judgment has that power. So the next time you feel that familiar jolt of irritation, pause and deconstruct the moment. A driver is leaning on their horn. That is the observable fact. Now observe the judgment that wants to follow, the one that says this is rude, this is an emergency, this is aimed at me. Then consciously set that story aside. Say to yourself, it is nothing by itself. It is merely a sound. By suspending your judgment, you create a buffer of pure perception between the world and your reaction. The noise still happens, but it passes through you without catching on the hooks of your preconceptions, leaving your inner peace undisturbed and entirely intact. Your mind is a time traveler, constantly leaping into a future filled with imagined disasters or dwelling on a past you can no longer change. This mental journey is where urban stress truly breeds, in the phantom territories of what might happen and what already has. Stoicism pulls you back from these exhausting expeditions, anchoring you firmly in the only place where life is actually being lived, the present moment. It is the sole point in time where you possess any real agency, and when you truly look at it, the now is almost always bearable, often even peaceful. Seneca saw this mental time travel as a form of self-inflicted torture, writing, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." The anxiety about a looming deadline is almost always a heavier burden than the focused work of meeting it. The regret over a yesterday's misstep is a weight you choose to carry long after the event itself has passed. Your power does not exist in the future or the past. It lives here in the breath you are taking right now. To reclaim this power, try a disarmingly simple practice on your next walk through the city. For just 1 minute, let go of your destination. Release the mental list of tasks and the replay of conversations. Bring your entire awareness down to the soles of your feet. Feel the exact pressure as your heel strikes the pavement. Notice the subtle shift of weight as you roll onto the ball of your foot and the gentle push off with your toes. The city will still be there, buzzing around you, but for these 60 seconds, your entire world is contained in that rhythmic, physical sensation. The honking car, the crowded sidewalk, the worry about your next meeting, they all lose their grip when you are fully immersed in the simple, undeniable reality of a single step. This is not an escape from your life, but a return to its most fundamental and manageable element. Fear is a constant companion in the city, a whisper in the subway tunnel, and a tightness in your chest before you speak in a meeting. Stoic courage is not the heroic elimination of that feeling, but the quiet decision to take the right action even as your heart is pounding. It is the choice to voice your idea even when your throat feels dry, to ask for help when you dread the rejection, or to simply board a crowded elevator when your personal space feels invaded. This courage is not a single grand gesture, but a muscle built through dozens of small, daily repetitions. The Stoic teacher Epictetus defined it with piercing clarity, stating that courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the knowledge of what is truly to be feared. And what is truly to be feared, in the Stoic view, is not a difficult conversation or a potential failure, but the act of compromising your own integrity by refusing to do what is right. The fear of public embarrassment is a phantom, a story you tell yourself. The real harm lies in staying silent when you have something valuable to contribute. Think about one small, fear-based action you have been quietly avoiding. Perhaps it is introducing yourself to a colleague you admire, or finally making that phone call you have been dreading, or even just walking into a busy gym for the first time. That single, avoided action is your training ground. Tomorrow, commit to doing it. Do not wait for the fear to disappear, because it will not. Instead, acknowledge its presence, thank it for trying to protect you, and then gently move forward anyway. Each time you do, you are not just completing a task, you are fortifying your inner citadel with a new brick of earned confidence, proving to yourself that you are stronger than the stories your fear tells. The city screams for your attention, your wallet, and your appetite, offering endless distractions on every corner. This relentless push for more stands in direct opposition to a quiet but formidable Stoic strength, the virtue of temperance. Temperance is not about grim self-denial or missing out on life's pleasures. It is the intelligent practice of self-control and moderation, the art of mastering your desires so they never become your master. You learn to enjoy the feast without being enslaved by your hunger. Seneca captured the essence of this when he advised that we must indulge the mind sometimes, but in such a way as to strengthen it, not to distract it. The goal is a balanced life where pleasure serves you, not rules you. This mastery begins with the simplest daily choices. Consider your consumption of information. The city delivers a non-stop fire hose of news alerts, social media updates, and endless scrolling. Temperance asks you to step back and ask if this stream is nourishing your mind or simply flooding it with anxiety. Choosing to close an app and sit with your own thoughts for 10 minutes is not deprivation. It is an act of reclaiming your mental space. The same principle applies to that extra coffee you do not really need, or the impulse purchase that calls to you from a store window. Each time you pause and consciously decide what is enough, You are not saying no to a thing, you are saying yes to your own inner balance. You are building a life where your peace is no longer for sale to the highest bidder. Overwhelmed is the silent tax on modern attention, a constant feeling that your responsibilities stretch far beyond your capacity to meet them. You are juggling tasks for work, for family, for a life that never seems to slow down, and the sheer volume of it all can feel paralyzing. The Stoics proposed a radical simplification for this complexity, a shift in focus from the entire overwhelming circus to the single, manageable act you are performing right now. This is the discipline of duty, the commitment to play your own role well, with integrity and focus, and to release your obsession with the roles everyone else is playing. Your power lies not in managing the entire project, but in perfecting your specific contribution to it. Marcus Aurelius, who carried the immense duty of an empire, constantly returned to this anchor. He wrote, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice." He is reminding himself that his job is not to control the outcome of a battle or the mood of the Senate, but to bring his full, virtuous attention to the decision immediately before him. Think about a major project at your own work, one with multiple moving parts and several colleagues involved. The stress often multiplies not from the work itself, but from the mental energy you expend watching others. You grow frustrated with a teammate's slower pace. You become anxious about a manager's vague feedback. You get pulled into the undertow of office gossip. This is where you drain your strength by trying to perform your part while also directing the entire play. The Stoic way is to pull your focus back to the boundaries of your own desk. Your duty is to complete your research with thoroughness, to write your section with clarity, to attend your meetings with full presence. The pace of your colleague, the politics of the department, the final outcome of the project, these are outside the sphere of your immediate control. By focusing only on what you can do and doing it with excellence for its own sake, you reclaim an immense amount of mental space. The project may be large, but your next action is always small, simple, and entirely within your power to execute with virtue. Your journal can become a quiet workshop where you forge a stronger mind each night. This is the Stoic practice of the evening audit, a simple but powerful ritual of mental decluttering. After the city's noise has faded and your day is done, you take a few moments to sit with your thoughts, not to brood over them, but to sort them with calm detachment. You are not just replaying events, you are conducting a review of your own judgments and actions, searching for the places where your inner citadel held strong and where its walls might need reinforcement. Seneca championed this daily introspection, writing to a friend, "The spirit ought to be brought up for review every day." It is this that makes the Stoic journey one of constant, gentle progress. The goal is not to punish yourself for every misstep, but to learn from it, to turn each day's stress and success into raw material for your own growth. The process itself is beautifully straightforward, built around three guiding questions. First, ask yourself, what did I do well today? This is not about feeding your ego, but about acknowledging moments of virtue. Did you practice patience in a long line? Did you choose courage by speaking up in a meeting? Did you exercise temperance by putting your phone away during a conversation? Recognizing these small victories builds the confidence to repeat them. The second question is, what could I have done better? Look honestly at a moment of friction. Perhaps you felt a flash of anger in traffic and snapped at a passenger, or you allowed anxiety about a future event to spoil your entire afternoon. Identify the specific Stoic principle you could have applied, like the dichotomy of control or cognitive distancing. The final question is, what did I learn? This transforms the experience from a simple critique into lasting wisdom. You might learn that your initial impression of a situation is almost always exaggerated, or that a few deep breaths can completely reset your emotional state. This nightly audit closes the book on the day with purpose, ensuring that even your struggles contribute directly to your unshakable peace. Our language secretly fuels the fire of our own stress. We narrate the events of our day not as neutral facts, but as emotional dramas, adding layers of judgment that intensify our anxiety. A simple request for a revision becomes a personal attack. A delayed train transforms into a catastrophe, and a crowded street feels like a violation. Stoicism offers a linguistic scalpel to cut away these inflammatory additions, a practice known as objective description. It is the discipline of describing any situation in plain, factual terms, deliberately stripping away the value-laden words that amplify its emotional charge. The Stoic teacher Epictetus gave the perfect instruction for this, advising us to describe every event as it is in its essence, without adding the judgment that it is awful. The event itself is just an event. It is our added commentary that makes it unbearable. Take that stressful work email as an example. The emotional narration sounds like this in your head. My boss is destroying my work. He hates my ideas. This is a disaster. Feel the heat and the panic that story generates. Now apply objective description. Strip the event down to its barest, most factual components. My boss sent an email. The email contained a request. The request is for a revision on the project draft. That is all that has objectively happened. The email is a piece of data. The request is an action item. There are no monsters here, no disasters, only a set of neutral facts waiting for your reasoned response. By describing the world to yourself in this plain language, you drain the situation of its imagined threats, allowing you to address the actual problem with a clear and untroubled mind. The next time you feel that familiar surge of frustration, pause and become a reporter of your own life, stating only the observable facts. You will find the storm inside you begins to quiet, leaving behind a calm space for your true power to act. Your thumb hovers over the send button, charged with a reactive message you will likely regret. Modern life runs on this kind of instant, unthinking reaction, a constant stream of impulses we obey without question. The Stoics offer a simple but profound intervention for this cycle, a technique we can call the Stoic Pause. It is the deliberate act of inserting a moment of pure silence between the initial impulse and your final action. This tiny gap is where your freedom truly lies, the key to breaking every automatic cycle of negativity. Epictetus pinpointed this critical juncture when he taught that the power of reason lies in not immediately assenting to an impression, but pausing to question it. Your first flash of anger is not a command, it is merely a suggestion, and the Stoic pause is your opportunity to decline the invitation. You can practice this with the most common modern provocations, like a frustrating text message. The notification arrives and you feel the familiar heat rise as you read it. Your fingers fly to craft a defensive, sharp reply. This is the exact moment to enact the pause. Before you type a single word, you put the phone down. You take one slow, deliberate breath. You look away from the screen for just 10 seconds. In that brief silence, the emotional charge begins to dissipate. The impulse to fire back loses its urgency, and the space opens for a question: do I need to respond right now? And if so, what would a reasoned response actually look like? That small pocket of stillness transforms you from a reactor into a sovereign actor, choosing your behavior with intention rather than being puppeteered by every passing emotion. The city often measures a life by its visible trophies, the corner office, the luxury car, the constant climb. We are conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to these external markers, that success is something to be displayed and admired. Yet this relentless pursuit places our happiness in the hands of things we can easily lose, creating a fragile peace that shatters with every market dip or missed promotion. Stoicism offers a radical redefinition of what truly matters through a concept known as preferred indifference. Things like wealth, reputation, and physical health are considered indifferent not because they are worthless, but because they lack the power to make us good or bad people. They are preferred, meaning it is perfectly natural and reasonable to seek them out, but they are not inherently good. The only true good, according to the Stoics, is virtue, your own moral character, your integrity, your courage, and your wisdom. Your happiness must be rooted in this internal good, something no external event can ever strip away. The Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus cut to the heart of this distinction when he taught that it is not the possession of wealth that is good, but its use. A vast fortune hoarded out of fear or spent on vanity does nothing for your character. It may even corrupt it, but a modest income used wisely to support your family, to help a friend, or to contribute to your community becomes an instrument of virtue. This shifts the entire question from what you have to who you are being with what you have. Ask yourself, what defines a good life beyond the resume or the bank statement? Is it the calm dignity you maintain in the face of a professional setback? Is it the generosity you show when you have little to give? Is it the integrity you uphold when no one is watching? These are the metrics of a Stoic life, where your inner wealth, built on virtue, becomes the only currency that never depreciates, ensuring your peace remains unshaken by the volatile marketplace of external success. Every crowded street and packed office seems to guarantee at least one difficult encounter. The sharp word from a stranger, the obstructive coworker, the endlessly critical relative. These interactions can poison an entire day, leaving us feeling personally attacked and seething with a resentment that lingers long after the person is gone. The Stoics offer a surprising and deeply compassionate lens through which to view these moments, one that transforms our anger into patience. They propose that no one deliberately chooses evil. People act in ways we find difficult because they are mistaken about what is truly good for them. They believe that being rude or obstructive or critical will bring them some form of satisfaction or security. In their ignorance, they are already suffering the consequences of their own flawed judgment. Meeting their faults with patience, then, is not just a personal coping strategy, it is an act of profound justice. It is giving them what they truly deserve, which is understanding, not retaliation. Marcus Aurelius framed this as a daily duty, writing in his Meditations, "Begin each day by telling yourself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, the envious, the unsocial." All these things happen to them by reason of their ignorance of what is good and evil. He resolved to bear with them gladly because he recognized that their behavior stemmed from a kind of blindness. So the next time someone cuts you off in traffic with a rude gesture, pause the story of the personal insult. Reframe the entire event. See that person not as your enemy, but as someone who is mistaken and suffering. They are operating under the delusion that aggression is a path to power or respect. They are, in that moment, a prisoner of their own ignorance. Your quiet patience in response is not a sign of weakness, but a quiet act of justice, a small beacon of reason in a world that often forgets what true strength looks like. Your morning sets the emotional weather for the entire day ahead. Before the city's demands can even begin, you have a quiet window of opportunity to build your inner citadel for the coming hours. This is the moment for a Stoic morning meditation, a proactive ritual of mental preparation. It is not about emptying your mind, but about strategically filling it with the right perspectives. You sit for just a few minutes and contemplate the day that lies ahead. What challenges are likely to arise? A difficult conversation with a client, a tedious administrative task, a crowded and noisy commute. Instead of dreading these events, you meet them in your imagination first, and you rehearse how you will face them not with reactivity, but with virtue. You visualize yourself practicing patience in the long line, courage in the meeting, and temperance with your time. Seneca understood the power of this daily foundation. He advised that we should take counsel of our own minds each morning, for no one can give you swifter advice than your own reason. This practice transforms you from a passive recipient of the day's chaos into its active, calm orchestrator. A simple way to build this habit is to anchor it to an existing routine like your first cup of coffee or tea. As you sip your drink, you consciously review the dichotomy of control. You ask yourself what is truly within my power today, your efforts, your attitudes, your judgments, and what must I willingly accept as outside my command. The moods of others, the traffic, the unexpected delays. By drawing this line each morning, you inoculate yourself against the frustration of fighting unwinnable battles. You step out your door not hoping for a smooth day, but prepared for a purposeful one, equipped with a calm that no external turmoil can easily shake. That profound appreciation you feel after imagining a loss is the very heart of Stoic gratitude. This practice is the positive counterpart to negative visualization, a way to actively cultivate joy from the well of your own character. While many forms of gratitude focus on external blessings, a Stoic feels a deeper thankfulness for the one thing that can never be taken from them, the capacity to use reason and live a virtuous life. This inner resource is a stable and unshakable source of joy, completely independent of the marketplace's turmoil. The philosopher Epictetus, who began his life in slavery, knew this truth intimately. He advised, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." For the Stoic, the greatest possessions are not material. They are the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance that reside within your own mind. You can be grateful for your ability to choose kindness in a stressful interaction, for the courage to speak a difficult truth, or for the patience to endure a long delay without complaint. These are not gifts of chance, but strengths you have cultivated, and they form the bedrock of a truly resilient happiness. So take a moment right now, before the next demand of your day arrives, and write down 3 things you are grateful for about your own character or abilities. It could be your perseverance through a recent challenge, your capacity to listen to a friend in need, or even your growing ability to pause before reacting in anger. This simple act grounds your gratitude in the one fortress no external chaos can ever breach, the unassailable citadel of your own virtuous self. Your online reputation feels like a vital asset, a fragile currency you must constantly monitor and defend. We refresh our feeds, anxious for likes and fearful of criticism, as if our worth is being tallied in real time by a distant crowd. This modern anxiety finds a powerful antidote in a core Stoic truth. The opinions of others reside firmly outside the walls of your inner citadel. They are what the Stoics called preferred indifference. It is natural to prefer being well regarded, but your reputation itself is not a true good. It cannot make you a virtuous person. The only real good is the quality of your character, the integrity of your actions when no one is watching. Your focus must shift from managing your public image to building your moral core. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in the world, constantly reminded himself of this, writing, "How quickly all things disappear, in the universe the bodies themselves, but in time the remembrance of them. Fame is fleeting, a whisper that vanishes almost as soon as it is spoken. What endures is the quiet knowledge that you acted with justice and courage." To experience the freedom this perspective offers, try a simple but powerful exercise, a reputation fast. Choose one day where you consciously abstain from checking for external validation. Do not look at your social media likes or comments. Do not search for your name online. Do not subtly fish for compliments in conversation. For 24 hours, let the world's opinion of you become background noise you deliberately choose to ignore. At first, you might feel a twinge of anxiety, a sense of being disconnected. But soon, a remarkable space opens up. The mental energy you once spent curating and defending your image is suddenly returned to you. You can feel the weight of that constant performance lifting from your shoulders. This fast is not about rejecting community, but about rediscovering the unshakable foundation of your self-worth, which was never meant to be determined by a fluctuating online score. Frustration is a tax we pay on our expectations of the world. We secretly demand that the city be quiet, that every person be fair, and that every plan unfold exactly as we designed it. This constant war with reality is a primary source of our stress. The Stoics pointed to a deeper solution, a principle they called living in accordance with nature. This is not just about enjoying parks and fresh air. It means aligning your will with the fundamental, rational law of the universe, accepting the world as it is designed to be, not as you wish it would be. The founder of Stoicism, Zeno, defined the goal of life as living in agreement with nature. He meant that we find peace by cooperating with the inherent structure of reality, which includes both beautiful sunsets and sudden downpours, both kindness and rudeness, both smooth commutes and unexpected delays. To fight this is to fight the physics of existence itself. Apply this to the daily reality of public transport. Its very nature is one of shared public use, which means it carries the inherent potential for unpredictability. Delays are not a flaw in the system, they are a feature of a complex, living network. By accepting this fundamental nature, you preemptively disarm your own frustration. When you step into a subway station, you are not stepping into a private car service you command. You are entering a shared, public system that operates on its own vast and complicated schedule. The moment you truly internalize this, the delayed train is no longer a personal offense against your schedule. It is simply the system expressing its own inherent nature. The honking in traffic is not a violation of silence, but the sound of a dense city functioning as dense cities do. This acceptance is not a surrender. It is a strategic alignment with the way things are, freeing your energy for the one thing you can actually control, your noble and reasoned response. An obstacle is not a roadblock, it is the path itself. This is the core of the ancient Stoic principle that the obstacle is the way. Every external challenge you face, from the minor irritation of a gridlocked intersection to the profound disruption of a career setback, is not a thief of your peace but the raw material for building it. The city's chaos provides the perfect forge for your inner strength, demanding the practice of virtues like patience, courage, and resilience. What you perceive as stress is merely the friction required to polish your character. Marcus Aurelius captured this transformative alchemy in his Meditations, writing, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He understood that a barrier does not halt your progress. It simply defines the new route your virtue must take. Your patience cannot be practiced in an empty room. It needs the crowded queue. Your courage remains theoretical until you are faced with a difficult conversation. Your resilience is just a word until you are forced to get back up after a failure. This is the ultimate alchemy, turning the lead of daily frustration into the gold of unshakable character. Think of one specific obstacle you are facing right now. Perhaps it is a difficult project at work that feels overwhelming, or a strained relationship with a neighbor. Now reframe it entirely. Do not ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, which Stoic virtue is this situation inviting me to practice? If the project is overwhelming, it is your raw material for cultivating perseverance and breaking down a large task into manageable, virtuous actions. If the relationship is strained, it is your opportunity to practice understanding and justice, to see the world from a perspective other than your own. The obstacle has not changed, but your relationship to it has been completely inverted. It is no longer a problem to be removed, but a training ground you get to use. The city's noise no longer has to be your master. We began this journey standing on that crowded platform, feeling overwhelmed by the external chaos of urban life. We have explored a path not toward a life free from stress, but toward building an unshakable inner citadel, a fortress of mind from which you can engage with the world's turbulence with clarity and strength. We sorted the chaos using the dichotomy of control, learning to focus our energy only on what is truly ours to command. We practiced Amor Fati, learning to love our fate by embracing every obstacle as fuel for growth. And we fortified our citadel with daily disciplines, from the morning meditation to the evening audit, transforming each irritation into an opportunity for virtue. These tools are not an escape from life, but an invitation to live it more fully. The Stoic teacher Epictetus offered a final, empowering truth when he said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your power has always resided in your choices, so as the city continues its relentless hum around you, which single technique will you choose to practice this week? Will it be the Stoic pause before you send that reactive email, or the view from above to shrink a work conflict? Your journey toward equanimity begins with one conscious choice. If you found this practical wisdom valuable, subscribe for more guides to living with Stoic strength in a modern world.